Hi guys, and welcome back to Derail Valley. Last time we left you, we'd just achieved a successful delivery from the food factory to Harbour Town, and we'd planned on taking the proceeds of that and using it to buy a new locomotive, which cost $50,000. However, once we managed to maintain and pay off the fees for our previous delivery, we found we had insufficient money. So today we're going to be trying to pick up a new form of license that will allow us to run multiple units, and that should enable us to earn a lot more money quickly, and therefore be able to earn the required amount of proceeds to acquire that new locomotive in fairly short order. At least that's the plan. So in order to pick up the multiple unit license, we need to purchase a concurrent orders license first, which we've just done. Now we're going to pay $30,000 of our remaining $30,673 in order to pick up the multiple unit license. So I hope it works. It's left us with $673. That could have huge impact on our career going forward. Okay, let's go and pick up our train and try and assemble a multiple unit of the BE2s. So, before we pick up the first of the DE2 locomotives, we should put our trusty and faithful DM3 away safely so that we can find it again if we need it. So we'll run it around to the locomotive shed, and that's where also we should find the first of the DE2 locomotives that we're going to be using to couple together as a multiple unit configuration. So the DM3 did manage to pull a lighter load from Food Factory down to Harbour Town, but even there we had a little bit of a struggle with getting it up the hill without the wheels slipping and that sort of thing. So certainly I think that we would have trouble in running the DM3 back again up the longer hill on the return journey. Okay, let's make sure the turntable is aligned in our direction, which it is. There's an empty bay in the roundhouse that won't occupy the maintenance section, which is the one directly ahead of us. So we'll rotate the turntable and just park the DM3 into that empty area. Okay, we can shut it down for the time being. Now we'll turn the engine off and turn off the electricals as well. The E2 is located conveniently in an almost adjacent siding here. We'll get it started up. And we'll take it back towards the station office, where I've already seen a second unit. Okay, brakes are tested this time. If anybody watched the opening sequence of this video, you'll see that this is not the first time that I've tried to take this out. I've ended up having to do this little section twice because the first time I overran the turntable and then found that our $673 were insufficient funds in order to re-rail the train again. So admittedly, I had to restore from a previous save point in order to preserve the career. This time, I hope we get it right. Okay, brakes are working now, so that's good. Turntables aligned with our outgoing track. Let's get going. So the DE2, for those that recall, is a diesel-electric shunter, but it's quite powerful. Unfortunately, it suffers from similar issues to the DM3 in the fact that it really struggles with heavier loads, up gradients, especially in rainy weather. So maybe if we transfer or if we run two of them together, we're going to be able to achieve a better result. Okay, here's the second DE2 that I managed to find earlier. So let's get it running and go and put it adjacent to the one that we just brought here. Okay, I think we're all set to go now. Unfortunately, my control setup isn't fantastic for the DE2. Tend to apply a little bit too much throttle at the beginning, and that causes some wheel slip, which in turn can cause a circuit breaker to trip, which means that we lose power to the engines entirely until we reset that circuit breaker again. Just managed to avoid that issue just now, fortunately, but it's something I'm going to have to be careful of as we drive this engine. There we go again. Wheel slip once more. And I just wonder if, when I double up the number of locomotives that I'm driving, if the expenses of operating them are also going to double, or whether it's still going to be fairly economical to operate this type of locomotive. Only one way of finding out. Okay, maybe I should have turned the lights off on the other loco. It's pretty bright. Okay, so coupling them together is not dissimilar to coupling the locomotive to any carriage. We need to connect the chain and tighten it, and we also need to connect the air hoses and make sure that the brake pipes valves are opened. But in addition, because we want to run a multiple unit, there is an additional cable, multiple unit cable, that connects the two locomotives together so that the controls of one can operate the controls of the other. So maybe I think I'm going to turn the lights off so I'm not blinding myself while I try to do this. That being said, we probably shouldn't be trying to do an operation that we're not familiar with in the dark either. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Okay, let's see if we can use our LED to light up what we're doing. Okay, the blue one is the multiple unit cable. All the rest we should be familiar with by now. Oh, but how do I operate the controls and have the LED operating simultaneously? Difficult. Alright, anyway, we've managed to put the cable across and tighten it up. Let's try and connect up the brake hoses. And having trouble grabbing anything while I have the LED in my hand, so I'll just have to try to do this in the dark. Not so easy. Okay, that's the brake hoses. Now this one here is the multiple unit cable. And yeah, I definitely shouldn't be doing this for the first time when I can't see what I'm doing, but yeah, it seems to have connected together okay now. Next time I promise, guys, I'll do this in the daylight so you can see what's going on. Okay, so we're opening the brake pipe valves. Or trying to, at least. Yikes. Okay, there it is. Alright, now there's one last thing that we need to do, and that's to make sure that on one of the locomotives, the master brake valve is set to on, which would typically be the engine that we're going to be driving, whilst the other one is set to off. This one here we need to make sure is off, which it is, as we're going to be operating the pair of the locomotives from the other cab. So this one, where we're going to be doing the driving from, we need to make sure that that master valve is in the open position. And what am I doing here? I'm confusing myself. Okay, let's open that one. This is the one we're going to be driving from. Okay. We should now be able to control the brakes, throttle and gears of both locomotives from this one cab. Well, we're moving. Seems to be working. Okay, so what we should do now is go and pick up a job that we can then take from the harbour town. Probably back to the food factory. I think that would be a perfect test of this new configuration. So let's go back to the station office and see what job we should pick up. Okay, let's not start too heavy. Let's pick something a little bit heavier than last time, perhaps. This one, 204 tons. I think that's not too bad. That should be a good test to see whether we can get up the hill in an easy manner. Okay. So we couple these up at track D60, which is conveniently pretty much where we dropped the last load off. So all of the points should basically be set correctly already. We should just be able to pretty well run straight in, couple up, and get going. Naturally, we want to try to make this delivery as quickly as possible so that we can take advantage of any bonus that we might be able to get by delivering the delivery in a good time. Just quickly double check everything's set correctly after all. I think it is. This is all looking familiar. Oops. Yeah. It's not the most gentle way of butting up against the load that we want to take. So we'll just sneak up on it a little bit. And now let's try and couple up. Just make sure that the brakes are not applied at the end carriage. No, they're not. Okay, see if we can't kiss it a little lighter this time. Okay, that should do us, I think. Yep. Be close enough now. Link them up. Tighten up the links. Crouch down and we'll connect the air hoses. There we are. Okay, we're going to be driving from this cab, so we need to shut off that brake valve. Still have a flashing light above the brake pipe. It's because we need to open up this brake valve. Still have a flashing light above the brake pipe. So we're not moving very easily, and again I think that's because somewhere the brakes are still applied. Whether I've got the handbrake on, did I leave the handbrake on this one? Oops. I'll have to chase after it. Uh-oh. There we go. Brake applied there. I think that's going to be better now. Editing out that cough. Just take it out nice and easily. Shouldn't have any problems whatsoever whilst we're on the flat. It'll be interesting to see how much easier using double header, that is two engines connected together, is going to be to take this load up the not necessarily steep but very long gradient that is headed from the harbour town to the food factory. Okay, we're headed out of Harbour Town now, and we'll have the benefit of fairly flat section for a little while, but very soon we'll be starting our ascent back up the hill. At that stage we'll see whether this sort of consist is going to prove its worth in hauling loads up a gradient. Check our route map, make sure that we are going to be headed in the right direction. So far, no hint of any wheel slip. We're able to fairly easily keep to the speed limit, 40 kilometres an hour in this section of track, but I definitely feel I could do faster. Handling this with relative ease at the moment. Picking up speed whilst the motor doesn't appear to be labouring too much. In actual fact, one thing we need to do is to make sure that we don't pick up too much speed. Seems to be quite easy to do. Fairly tight bends here, 40 kilometre an hour speed limit around them. We want to make sure that our entire train does clear them before we accelerate too much on the other side, even though the speed limit has gone up to 70 kilometres now. Hopefully it won't be too long before we hit daylight. And always a lot more enjoyable, I think, travelling along when you can see where you're going and see around you. See, we're picking up good speed now. Ooh. Always hate hearing the flanges scraping across the rail, because that can be a sign that you're in imminent danger of derailing. Certainly so far it's been a lot easier journey. Not so much a matter of worrying about whether we've got sufficient power to negotiate the grades, but just managing to stick to the speed limits and make sure that everything goes smoothly. Now, if this is any form of indication, I think this multiple unit license will be a real benefit for us. Sure, at the moment we've only got $673, and that's going to make it quite a while before we do our next purchase. But we should be able to do a number of trips using multiple DE2s, and hopefully rack up the funds fairly quickly from now on in. It doesn't mean that I'll abandon the DM3 entirely. It's certainly been an enjoyable locomotive to drive, and I think that it's going to be very handy, particularly on shorter runs or runs with lighter loads. Seems to be fairly economical. That being said, the economy of the DE2 locomotives that we're driving now and we started off driving in our career seem to be the ones that cost us less to maintain. Of course, now that we're using two of them, we've probably got double the cost, but we should be able to, at the same time, achieve loads that is going to generate twice the income. So I think it's going to be a good investment. About halfway to our destination now. It's been pretty painless and effortless so far. Unless something drastic happens, I think we've got every chance of earning a bonus as well. I think dawn is upon us. Visibility is starting to increase. From a sheer driving viewpoint, I think the TM3 is a little bit more fun. It's got that weird gearbox arrangement, which means also that you have to be very careful when you're changing gears. But here, we don't even have gears to worry about so much as just adjusting the throttle between various notches. But look at this speed that we're able to achieve. It's kind of nice being able to set and forget. So depending on how much money that we're able to earn from this particular trip, I think we might end up doing a couple of hauls with a multiple unit in order to bolster our funds. Maybe do a couple of shunting jobs as well. Maybe pick up an available DM3 in the yards and do some shunting. And see how quickly we can't get on to getting the DH4, which is the next locomotive that we're interested in, the diesel hydraulic. I believe it's quite a significantly more powerful engine than the DM3, and if I don't be mistaken, then I believe that you can also couple multiple DH4s together as well. By that stage, the next challenge for us, I think, is going to be even longer and heavier trains, and maybe even some that allow us to use hazardous cargo like petroleum or oil tankers, or maybe even explosives. I don't know. We'll see. At this stage, all of our standard non-flammable goods are quite explosive for us. I can feel this slowing down as we go up this grade, but it certainly seems to be in no danger of stalling or even wheel slipping at this point. We can't be too far away from the summit, and it'll be interesting to see how we go on the descent down the other side of the hill. We'll have to make sure that we're careful to control our speed as we go along. We've only got the two types of brakes here, which is the air brakes affecting the entire train, or the train brakes as it's called, and the independent brakes, which operate on the two locomotives. We do not have any form of dynamic braking with this type of locomotive. That being said, I think we've got mainly empty cars, and it may be 200 odd tonne, but it's certainly not considered to be an extremely heavy load. So it should be quite manageable. We'll mainly be using the air brakes to control our speed. Or train brakes, I should say. This is a fairly high speed section of track too, so we don't have too many worries until we get closer to the food factory, in which case then we've got some tight turns on the way down. This is most likely the calm before the storm. Certainly be getting through the tunnels a lot quicker in this direction, that's for sure. Okay, we need to be careful here. We've done so well, we certainly don't want to be allowing our speed to run away with us at the moment. we know we don't have enough money to re-rail any carriages that may come off the track, so this is kind of a one-shot deal. We have to start building up our bankroll very, very quickly now. So we just have to make sure that we are controlling our speed on the way down here. Very easy for the train to get away on us. I think we're doing well though. I'm quite optimistic about getting a good bonus on this particular run. So I think as you get closer to your destination, the thing that you have to avoid experiencing is a symptom called get-there-itis, which means that you're starting to get impatient, you want to get there, you want to finish the job, and you tend to not be as cautious as you should be. So we're going to make sure here, especially as the speed limit starts coming down, that we don't get their itis symptoms affecting us. Sneaky little drops in speed as we're in the tunnel. Unless we're vigilant, it could bite us in the you-know-where. All that being said, it's certainly been a significantly easier exercise transporting this load from the harbour town to the food factory than the trip that we did the other way previously. I'd say that the multiple unit licence has so far proven to be quite a success. If I'm not mistaken, I think I can see the food factory off in the distance. We're very close now. Let's have a look to see where we need to drop these off. Uncouple on track C4I. Well, we'll be coming into C from the north. So let's just make sure that we have everything set correctly. And hopefully we can just drive straight in. Uh-oh. Slow down, don't blow it now. Oh. So we've arrived at the food factory safely. Now just a matter of getting the train into the right siding, uncoupling it, applying the handbrake, and let's go and get some money, which we desperately need, having started off with just $673. Uh-oh. Now I need to be more careful about setting these points because I thought that I had everything set up correctly for us to drive straight in. It appears that's not the case. C4I is actually a couple of tracks over. Let's go back, reset our points. I think that's the one that was wrong. I'm not so sure. Just have a look. I can see C4I from here, so we're not too far away. But I do tend to waste a lot of time in these last few precious moments, which could mean the difference between getting a bonus and not getting a bonus. So I need to be more careful in future. Okay, having trouble changing to forward gear. Let's have a look and see why. Oh, I think I can see why. The throttle is still engaged into notch number 1. Let's just... yeah, I can't throw the gears across until that's set back into the neutral or low position. Now we can engage forward gear and get to where we should be. Well, overall it's been a pretty fun run and hopefully a lucrative one as well. We'll see in a couple of moments just how well we did. We're on the right track now. Just pull in sufficiently to get the whole train in the siding. Okay, I think this is far enough. Make sure that we've totally disengaged the throttle. We're in idle now. Brakes are set. Jump out. Apply the handbrake. Uncouple. Into the air hose. And go and get our money. Okay. Let's see what we get. Hello? Where's the money? Where's the moolah? Oh, it says in progress. Some carts are missing from the track. Bring them in. Well, I guess I did not actually travel far enough into the siding, so just go back and couple them again. Another example of where I waste time. So probably with this load I could dispense with hooking up all of the air brakes, etc. While we're on the flat, just to pull it a few feet, but I think let's be thorough. Do it once, do it right. Except I'm sure I left the handbrake on that first car. That's okay. We're still dragging it along, so surely that's not going to cost me too much in damages. Only a few meters. Okay. Let's try again, huh? Okay. But we've got a bit of a runaway train here. Throttle off. Brakes are on. I think the train's far enough in the siding now. Hopefully, we should be able to complete the job. Uh-oh. What's happened here? Ah, phew. Yes, there's the money. Have a look, see how much we got. So, 53 minutes we completed it in. 76 minutes was the bonus time. So, instead of 12,000 for the job, we got 18,000. But, oh no, look at our fees. What? How is it possible I've accumulated so many fees all of a sudden? Alright, well, I guess we need to go and we need to get that fixed up. Let's have a look and see what the report says. Unless I go and get these locomotives manually serviced, we can reduce the cost there. I mean, we've only got a small amount of money. Okay, what was supposed to be a triumphant journey, good bonus, smooth running, appears like it may not have been the lucrative investment I expected it should be. Let's go and see if we can't maintain these two locos, come back and see if we get a net positive result out of this particular run. Gosh, that's disappointing. And I don't really understand why there's so much damage. I didn't really experience any great degree of wheel slip or anything, unless these locomotives already had some damage associated with them. Perhaps they weren't at 100% when I picked them up in the first place. I don't know. I think next time when I pick up a new locomotive, I should go and check in the station office to see if there's any fees owing on it straight away. If this was a multi-user game, I could blame other players, but I guess the only people that's, or only person that's causing damage for me is me. I can't really blame anybody else. And I would expect that most of the engines that we come across that we haven't used previously should be in a good condition of maintenance anyway. Yeah, a bit strange. Grandpa's getting cranky. Oh my goodness, come on. That's incredible. Do I have to use sand even though I'm traveling so slowly? I mean, from the outside, everything looks perfect. Alright, let's try and pull it up into the service bay. We'll do one at a time. I'm not really going to worry about fuel, I don't think, at the moment. Let's just look at fixing things like the wheels and the transmission and so on. Okay, that should be that one out of the way. Try and move the next one. Alright, I think before I run the DE2 next time, I should definitely look at my controls. Okay, we've been able to perform some repairs here. 6,000. A big chunk out of what I've already earned. Enough. Brakes. Okay, yeah, it's at 94.9%, so... Go and pay some money. How much is this going to cost us? Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Okay, 7,000. We've got just enough. Let's go and see if now we can clear our fees. Okay, let's have a look. Fees. It's been reduced. We need to pay 3,000 to clear all of the fees. I've got 4,280. So I started off with 673 and I finished off with 1,700. So I got about 1,100 macaroons for that delivery. Well, there's another fee to pay. So that's it. Co-pay is paid. Everything's finished. We made a net profit of about $100. How am I going to get a DH4 after all this? I don't know, but let's find out in the next episode of Grandpa Playing Games.